This is about the survival of the human race, a sign of the times, an analysis and a commentary. Legal case for drone strikes on Americans. A confidential Justice Department memo concludes that the United States government can order the killing of American citizens if they are believed to be senior operational leaders of al-Qaida or an associated force, even if there is no intelligence indicating they are engaged in an active plot to attack the United States. The 16-page memo provides new details about the legal reasoning behind one of the Obama administration's most secretive and controversial policies, its dramatically increased use of drone strikes against al-Qaida suspects, including those aimed at American citizens. The confidential Justice Department white paper introduces a more expansive definition of self-defense or imminent attack. It refers, for example, to what it calls a broader concept of imminence, an actual intelligence about any ongoing plot against the United States homeland. The condition that an operational leader present an imminent threat of violent attack against the United States does not require the United States to have clear evidence that a specific attack on U.S. persons and interests will take place in the immediate future, the memo states. Instead, it says, an informed high-level official of the U.S. government may determine that the targeted American has been recently involved in activities posing a threat of a violent attack, and there is no evidence suggesting that he has renounced or abandoned such activities. The memo does not define recently or activities. Although not an official legal memo, the white paper was represented by administration officials as a policy document that closely mirrors the arguments of classified memos on targeted killings by the Justice Department's Office of Legal Counsel, which provides authoritative legal advice to the President and all executive branch agencies. This is a chilling document, said the Deputy Legal Director of the ACLU, which is suing to obtain administration memos about the targeted killing of Americans. Basically, it argues that the government has the right to carry out the extrajudicial killing of an American citizen. It recognizes some limits on the authority it sets out, but the limits are elastic and vaguely defined, and it's easy to see how they could be manipulated. In particular, he said, the memo redefines the word imminence in a way that deprives the word of its ordinary meaning. A Justice Department spokeswoman declined to comment on the white paper. The spokeswoman instead pointed to public speeches by what she called a parade of administration officials that outlines the legal framework for such operations. The white paper also includes a more extensive discussion of why targeted strikes against Americans does not violate constitutional protections afforded American citizens, as well as a U.S. law that criminalizes the killing of U.S. nationals overseas. It also discusses why such targeted killings would supposedly not be a war crime or violate a U.S. executive order banning assassinations. A lawful killing in self-defense is not an assassination, the white paper reads. In the department's view, a lethal operation conducted against a U.S. citizen whose conduct poses an imminent threat of violent attack against the United States would be a legitimate act of national self-defense that would not violate the assassination ban. Similarly, the use of lethal force, consistent with the laws of war, against an individual who is a legitimate military target would be lawful and would not violate the assassination ban. so they say. But legal experts have expressed grave reservations about the Obama administration memo concluding that the United States can order the killing of American citizens believed to be affiliated with al-Qaida, with one saying the White House was acting as judge, jury, and executioner. The experts said that the memo, first obtained by NBC News, threatened constitutional rights and dangerously expanded the definition of national self-defense and of what constitutes an imminent threat. Anyone should be concerned when the president and his lawyers make up their own interpretation of the law or their own rules, said Mary Ellen O'Connell, a law professor at the University of Notre Dame and an authority on international law and the use of force. This is a very, very dangerous thing that the president has done, she added. Noreen Shaw, a lecturer at Columbia Law School and associate director of the Counterterrorism and Human Rights Project at the school's Human Rights Institute, said that she was deeply troubled by the contents of the memo. We should be concerned when the White House is acting as judge, jury, and executioner, she said, and there's no one outside of the White House who has real oversight over that process. What's put forward here is there's no role for the courts, not even after the fact. The Justice Department paper explicitly refers to killing an American citizen in a foreign country, but some legal experts and lawmakers concerned with the rationale violates the right to due process afforded Americans by the Constitution see no reason why it couldn't apply inside the United States. This should be the question on everyone's mind, probably the first question. If the president can make up law, why would he think he is stopped from making up law to apply inside the United States? Every American has the right to know when their government believes it is allowed to kill them. And that should be a very important question to ask. This, too, is another sign of the end of times, as we know them, transition days, which is a time of extraordinary happenings, changes, and events, because it's about what kind of world are we leaving to the future generations. Isaiah chapter 29, verse 9. Stay yourselves and wonder, cry ye out and cry. They are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink. 10. For the Lord has poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep, and has closed your eyes. The prophets and your rulers, the seers has he covered. 11. And the vision of all this has become to you like the words of a book that is sealed, when men give it to one who can read, saying, Read this. He says, I cannot, for it is sealed. 12. And when they give the book to one who cannot read, saying, Read this, he says, I cannot read. 13. And the Lord said, Because this people draw near with their mouth, and honor me with their lips, while their hearts are far from me, and their fear of me is a commandment taught by humans. 14. Therefore, behold, I will again do wonderful things with this people, with wonder upon wonder, and the wisdom of their wise men shall perish, and the discernment of their discerning men shall be hidden. 15. Ah, you who hide deep from the Lord your counsel, whose deeds are in the dark, and who say, Who sees us? Who knows us? 16. You turn things upside down. Shall the potter be regarded as the clay, and the thing made should say of its maker, He did not make me? Or the thing formed say of him who formed it, he has no understanding? Revelation chapter 18, verse 3. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the leaders of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies and luxuries. 4. And I heard another voice from heaven, saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. 5. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God has remembered her iniquities. Again, it's time for prophecy to be fulfilled. Everything is connected, and everything is numbered, and all these are more signs of the times.